I'd like to call to order the July 29th, 2025 Board for Licensing Contractors meeting. We'll start with a roll call to my right.
Andy Allen, Kingsport, Tennessee.
Keith Whittington, Johnson City.
Jennifer Ransom, Memphis.
Mark Brudd, Knoxville.
Lee Carter, Nashville.
We do have an established quorum. First item of business is to adopt the agenda. Can we get a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any changes, additions? Motion has been approved. Approval of the May 20, 2025 meeting minutes. Can we have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? I will just say one thing. I read through the transcription of the meeting minutes. I didn't see actual drafted meeting minutes, and the transcription is a little wonky. Some of the words didn't make sense. So just a note that transcription is not as clear as drafted meeting minutes.
Was it AI generated?
Yes, we don't have the court reporting or reporting anymore, so it is using AI to go back and interpret and draft out the text. Yes.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting minutes are approved. Okay, we will approve license reviews. Approvals, let's see, we'll start with waived interviews, revisions, increases, add classes, mode, name changes. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, LLEs, LLPs, home improvement licenses. Motion for approval.
Motion to approve the LLEs, LLPs, and home improvement.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Applications with factors, no interviews. Can we have a motion for approval for those?
I'll move for approval of the applications with factors, no interviews.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Application with factors with interviews. Any discussion on those?
Is this when I bring,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, it's listed separate, okay. Okay, no discussion. Motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Fresh Start Act pre-approvals. Can we have a motion for approval on those?
I'll make a motion since I approved it.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor to approve the Fresh Start Act pre-approvals?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And a renewal discussion flagged complaint. I think Kyle's going to discuss that.
Yes, I can give a brief introduction. So this is Boaz Construction, Inc. They've applied for renewal. During that process, we noticed they had a flag complaint from 2020. That complaint was flagged because there was a civil judgment that was rendered against technically a prior entity that was previously a holder of the license. The license changed to a new entity in 2017. This judgment was rendered in 2018. But the complaint was closed and flagged ultimately because they started making payments on the judgment, and that was, as long as they did that, they were in compliance technically with the rule. I think they made payments on the judgment for about 18 months. That prior company ended up being dissolved and shutting down. So the license has been with this entity for, the current entity for 3 or 4 years. But during this process of renewal, we noted and reached out to them and started discussions to see if they were still making payments. And it appeared that they were not, and that's why it's been brought up to this board for a full vote on the renewal. The board does have authority to refuse to renew for violation of statute, which would be misconduct. You guys have spelled that out in rule that failure to pay a civil judgment rendered against a contractor is misconduct. And then I'll kind of we did have an interview, and Mark sat in on that, and he may have some recommendations from that interview, so I'll let him take over.
Yeah, we met before this meeting. And they're definitely in a crunch as far as their finances go. They've got accounts receivable in excess of 14 million, I think, is what the financial statement said. And they do have assets shown, but apparently they're cash poor. They've got liens filed against their projects, and they've filed liens against the owner's projects, and they're kind of in a mess at this point. They did agree to start making payments toward this judgment of $100 a month, which they owe $140,000, so it's going to take a while to pay them off. But at this point, that was all that they felt that they could afford to pay. And we said, well, if that's all they can afford to pay, we will reevaluate their situation on the next renewal in 2 years to see if they've successfully collected some of these accounts receivable, or if something else has happened to them to allow them to increase the payments, or if they're not in business anymore, then obviously they wouldn't need the license. But so essentially, my recommendation is to approve the renewal as long as they make monthly payments of $100 a month, and we reevaluate in 2 years when they have to renew again. It's not ideal, but I felt like that was the best we could do at this point, other than not renew their license, and then they're going to be out of business, and they won't survive at all for sure. But
And I would just add from legal, if they are willing to, it seems like they're willing to resume the payments at $100 a month. It is not ideal, but they're technically not in compliance with the rule if they're continuing to make payments on the judgment. So it is unfortunate the way the wording of that rule. But if they're willing to continue to make payments, they're technically still in compliance with the rule. So I'll just add that to the discussion.
Okay, so the motion, we'll need a motion for approval.
Sure, and I can spell that out. I think the
Okay.
motion would be to approve the renewal contingent on the applicant resuming payments on the judgment at $100 a month, and we need proof of that every month they're making those payments, and then we'll reevaluate the situation at the next renewal. So we'll leave the complaint flagged at this point.
All right, any discussion from anyone?
What's their monetary limit?
$3 million.
3 million.
Have we, did we think about reducing that until they get their judgment paid? Because the reason, I mean, I assume the reason we set those monetary limits is to keep companies out of trouble. And it sounds like they're already in it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, my concern would be protecting the consumer possibly if they don't have enough working capital to complete the projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, my concern as well, if all they can pay is $100 toward this $150,000 judgment, how are they able to continue operating? So I would be in agreement to lower the monetary limit.
I would just add as a reminder, the judgment was rendered against a prior entity of the license holder, so this the current entity is a separate entity.
Even though it's same license number, same owner?
It's been the same license number throughout. Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. So is that within our purview to lower the monetary limit, Kyle?
I would have to go.
It can be part of the renewal process.
I think it can. I think you have to look at it based on the financials and experience, like you guys all know that. So if you have a valid reason based on the financials and the experience, I think you can lower it.
I think this is the prime reasoning for doing it. I mean, this is the reason that we we handcuff those limits, set those limits. Yeah, this is the perfect reason.
Make a motion. What?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what kind of company they are.
What's their balance, like the
What's their trade?
They're a BC.
BC
BC.
1.6 in assets?
1.6 in assets and 1.45 of that is accounts receivable. So their cash is 133,000.
If it's a doubtful receivable, can you really
Count
it
as an asset?
Asset, yeah.
Well, there's financial statements.
If I could interject, let's, if you guys could just review that, and the financials, let's refrain from discussing actual numbers of that on the record.
So it sounds like do you have a recommendation for what we might think the revised limit should be?
I'll
could be?
refer to Mr. Brudd on that since he's more intimate with the case.
Yeah, currently it's 3 million. Do you have a recommendation, Mark?
My recommendation would be 1 million.
So I'd second that motion.
Okay. So do we have two motions on the table, or can we incorporate the?
You can incorporate all that
Okay,
into one
so we'll
motion.
incorporate. Okay. So can someone make a motion to approve the license pending continued payment on the judgment at $100 a month with proof of that payment given to the board, as well as a lowered monetary limit to $1 million, just to protect the contractor and the public while this judgment is, or not, judgment is pending while during the renewal period.
And then just to add to that, a review of this at the next renewal cycle.
Okay, and we will review it at the next renewal cycle in 2 years. Motion? Can we get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay, thanks, Kyle. RCE provider reviews and course approvals, we have two, one for all for contractors. There's a couple additional courses that they presented, and then Mike Holt Enterprises. Hopefully we've read through those. Can we have a motion to approve these additional providers?
Motion to approve?
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. All right, new business. There's a company with 2 licenses. Someone presenting on this?
Second here. All right, so we have, what we have here is, let me pull it up here. We have company has 2 licenses in the same name. It's Power Design Incorporated, has license number 77333 and 50842. And so, obviously, the 50842 was issued first in 2003. They both have a electrical, a CE, and a CEMC -C unlimited. And then 77333 was issued in 2022 with a CMCA unlimited. And so they answered no about having another license back on their second application. We didn't know, and so when they filed online, it was flagged, and there was already a license in that name, and so we gave the company the option to surrender one of the licenses and then merge the classification into one license. And so we're going to have a discussion if that's good for the board to do that. I would say that would be appropriate. I just want to throw that in front of the board for any discussion. Sometimes they have two licenses. This has come across before. We want to make sure we're all in sync going forward when we have cases like this. And so I don't know, Kyle, do you have any other?
Just, have they responded to that option?
I have not seen anything yet.
Okay. My suggestion would be that we give them that option to voluntarily surrender the license that was most recently issued. They would keep their original license and just merge the classifications. I would suggest that the board put a timeline on a time frame on them voluntarily agreeing to that, because if they don't, it's not in compliance with statute, and we would have to open a complaint against or I would recommend that we open a complaint against the license issued in 2022. So however much of a time frame you all want to put on that voluntary agreement being made, and then if not, I would recommend you guys approve a complaint being opened against the second license based on the statute that says no license should be issued in the same name.
Kyle, do we know if there's a tail on some of those contracts that may
Yeah.
keep those projects open, or warranty items, particularly with an owner that may not have the ability to come back if there's a problem in the future?
Well, the license, my understanding, is issued literally to the same exact entity. Both licenses are issued to the same entity. So as far as their contracts being entered into, it would be the same entity regardless. So I don't think there shouldn't be any issues with that. But that may be stuff they're thinking about. So if an agreement can't be made and we need to bring it back up in front of the board, we can certainly do that with more information.
I was thinking similar to Lee in terms of like permits pulled
Yes.
under the new license number, whether or not those permits will still be honored in the old license number if they weren't originally pulled there.
I think it would be on them to change those permits, which they should do. Ultimately, they should have been aware that they had two licenses and listed on their application that they did had a prior license
Yeah.
as well. I'm not sure where the confusion got mixed up or how this happened, but I think we need to give them this opportunity to voluntarily agree to surrender the license and merge the application. Seems like a fair offer. But if they don't, we need to open a complaint because the second license is not in compliance with statute.
Got
I will
it.
say this has happened once before in my time here, my short time here. But the guy, they did respond, and we did merge it into one before, and it came up because of permits. A local permit office contacted us and asked us what was going on, and
Okay.
from there it got found out, and it was resolved fairly easily. But in this case, when they're not, I guess they're not, if they don't respond or anything, what is our actions as the board? I guess that's probably what we're talking about. So opening up a complaint or setting a timeline for them to
To
merge
address it.
and change over their permits or contracts.
How long ago did you reach out to them to present the option to merge the two licenses? And how long have they been non-responsive?
Let's see, this came up right after our last board meeting.
So in May.
In May. in
They've
May.
had plenty of time, yeah. Yeah. So maybe give them another 60 days to respond.
Make a motion.
One quick question on these classifications. You said the first license had a CE and a full CMC, but the second license only had a CMCA.
Oh, I'm sorry. The first license, give me 1 second here. Had a CE and a CMC-C unlimited. And then the second license had a CMC-A unlimited. So there's-
Okay.
the monetary limits still match.
Qualifying agents are the same.
I would have to look at that. I'd have to, we can dig into that here.
If you could, just make sure that somebody didn't leave or is no longer with that company, and it's a
Right.
qualifying agent problem is why they've done
Right.
this. Because
Okay.
that would make sense.
Yeah.
So if the qualifying agent, I'll make a motion that if the qualifying agent is acceptable to be able to merge these two licenses, we give them, that this needs to be completed before the next board meeting.
Yes. Or a
Or
complaint.
we'll have to file a complaint.
Against the new license.
Yep.
All right, it's been moved. Can we get a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Chris, routinely, do we check to make sure that there aren't two names
We,
that are identical?
we go by what's on the application, but I guess it does happen, and it doesn't happen often that does happen. I am a little bit surprised that, if we type in the name, if the name's exactly the same, it didn't pop up, in our system. And I'm not sure how that happened or didn't happen.
Yeah.
But normally that would routinely get caught, because I've seen other cases where
Do we
somebody's
use-
applying, but they're two different entities with the same name.
Do we use a federal ID number to check?
Not normally.
No.
It's just a Secretary of State filing is what we
Yeah,
go off
okay.
of.
Okay.
So it doesn't happen often, but it has popped up. And I know in the past week, there was a case that, two companies, one in a different state, one in Tennessee, one out of state was trying to come in and get licensed, but they had the same name as Tennessee license, and it got, reverted back to them, so you got to change your name.
Hopefully this will get resolved in the next 60 days, and
I
at the
hope
next
so.
board meeting, it'll be a non-issue. Okay, online exam option for next examination provider contract?
Yes, I got this one. And so our contract for trade exams is currently with PSI, and they're contracted through next year, 2026. But legal team is working on, the contract specialists are working on the next contract iteration of what that's going to look like. And I was approached to ask if we wanted to incorporate the online testing option in the next contract. PSI currently does it. I'm sure other testing services do it around the country as well. It's just one of those things that it's an option for us to consider. Other boards here in reg boards are already utilizing this option. Real estate in particular is the one I'm referring to. And I've reached out to them. They've incorporated it last year, so they've had a whole year of using it. And there hasn't been any online, cheating scandals or anything like that that's popped up in this past year. There's really a couple hiccups when they first got started about the things timing out, but I'm sure that, that's been ironed out, and things like that. So it's just an option to discuss going forward. It would be no cost, additional cost for this board on that contract, but it's just something to discuss. Like I said, other boards in this division is currently utilizing it, and I know other boards, other states are using it, with connections through NASCLA and things like that. There are other things out there that people are doing that. So I wanted to have a discussion or a recommendation to the board whether or not they want to include this in the next iteration of the contract that goes out for bidding.
I've taken one of these, and they are legit. They are more strict than the proctored ones.
Good.
Yes, I mean, they make you film your entire room that you're in. It is extreme. I
Excellent.
don't remember what state, but one of the business and law exams. So I highly recommend and make a motion we accept this. It's good.
That's good to know. Thanks for speaking on that, because that obviously would be the only concern, is just the security
Yeah.
measures around it.
And anecdotally, I know know people that are professors in colleges, and online courses are rampant out there, and they do the same
Absolutely.
thing, and things like that. and I was just listening to conversations. It wasn't anything about this, but listening to conversations before about how stringent things, as Andy described, on their final exams and things like that. So it's just it's out there, and I think that the technology in the industry has matured to allay some of those initial concerns that everybody has.
I agree.
Yeah, they even watch your eyeballs. So if you're looking up too much, like somebody standing behind your monitor,
Oh, wow.
yeah, and then it tells you all this in the thing. But yeah, it's extremely
Oh, that's
secure.
interesting. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I think we'll be behind if we don't adopt new technology, at least the option to use it. So, motion to approve the recommendation to include the online option in the next examination provider contracts.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. All right, revisit on reconfirming auditor calculations.
All right. Last board meeting in May, I was brought up this as new business, but it was tabled. There was questions about we're talking about personal financial statements in particular, when a guarantee agreement is needed to supplement a financial statement. The question was two questions came about. It was about what Social Security, why is Social Security not included in that, and it was also a question about personal investment into the company. So went back and actually talked to the accountancy board, talked to our CPAs on our team. I guess the quick answer is for Social Security, that's future income that if it's not guaranteed. So you get paid Social Security, it's in your bank account, so you can count that as as your bank statement, your checking account, or whatever like that. But anything that they project future Social Security payments and things like that for the year, that's when that gets taken out. And so that's just a standard accounting principle that they do across the board, and so that's the reason why, particularly that Social Security or let's say military retirement income and things like that, you don't count that future. If me personally, if I was to pass away, my retirement income stops for my family and things like that. So so the same thing with Social Security. So that wouldn't count. But other things that would count are for your 401ks or your retirement accounts and things like that. Those are counted into your personal financial statement, things like that. So it's just a matter of not counting something that's not guaranteed if you were to pass away and move on. And so that's the reason why. And the second part of it was the personal valuation of into the business, and that's basically double counting if you look at it. So if you got your financial statement for the entity, but you're also counting your personal investment into that business, it's more or less you're counting it twice. And so you're counting it in your business financial statement, and you're also counting it in your personal financial statement. So that's why it's taken out of that. So that's why those two particular things in a personal financial statement are withdrawn or rearranged when it's being calculated for our auditors' purposes. So, and to back this all up, originally it was why I brought this up in the first place is I was reading out how we do our accounting, our auditing, financial audits on this board, because we've been doing it the same for a long time. Obviously, I'm new, been here just over a year now. Looking back, we could not find a specific point in time where the board adopted, this is how we do our financial auditing. And so I was reading off how we did it, and things like that, so we can get a set point, hey, that we've adopted, we agree to how we conduct, we account for financial statements on an application. And that was the reason why I brought it back up. We had an internal audit over the past year, and we could not find the documentation of when 20, 30 years ago, whenever those were adopted. And so I
Okay.
was just trying to reconfirm that. And so, if I could read those again, read how we conduct that business, but I also wanted to address those specific questions that came out from our May board meeting. And so, also wanted to, is there any other questions about how our financial auditors calculate the financial statements? Otherwise, I'd like to have a motion to adopt or reconfirm how we can conduct that business.
Any discussion, any questions for Chris? If not, we'll entertain a motion to reconfirm the existing auditor calculations for financial statements.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? The motion carries. Thanks, Chris. Legal report. Yeah.
Good morning. We have a couple changes to the legal report. First one is number 87 on the legal report. That's case number 2025008251. The settlement offer, it's changed from the $1,000 listed on the legal report to a settlement offer through a consent order with a voluntary revocation of the respondent's license. And the next change that I have is number 107 on the legal report. That's case number 2025017221. We're going to close with a letter of warning to the respondent. And if we are able to determine who the government entity is, we're also going to send a letter of information to the government entity regarding our reciprocity process. That it is not automatic. It only waives the trade exam requirement, and the licensees who are licensed in other states still need to apply for licensure in Tennessee, to be licensed in Tennessee. And I'll let Sierra read her changes as well.
Good morning. So the first change is to number 12. That's case number 2025014211. The recommendation is being changed to close. The next one is number 81. That is 2024059601. And the recommendation is being changed to a voluntary revocation. The next change is number 86, and that is 2025020311. And the recommendation is being changed to a $750 civil penalty. The next one is 97, and that's 2025019131. And the recommendation is being changed to voluntary revocation. And the final one is number 120, and let me get that case number. It is 2025028401, and the recommendation is being changed to close with a letter of warning.
I just have a few changes. Numbers 103, 105, 106 in the legal report, those are case number 2024-027-111, case number 2023-048-041, case number 2023-035-881. These all concern the same respondent. The initial recommendation was to close and flag and also send a referral to the district attorney in the jurisdiction where all these three complaints occurred. We've since learned that this respondent has been prosecuted in that jurisdiction and pled guilty, so the referral is moot at this point. So the new recommendation would be to just close and flag all three complaints.
All right. Any further discussion on the legal report? If not, we will entertain a motion to approve as amended.
Make a motion, we approve the legal report as amended.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Legislative update. Kyle?
Don't have much for you. We're not in session right now, so there's no Nothing on that end. We do have two more rulemaking packets that you guys have previously approved for rulemaking hearings at a couple of the last meetings. So those are in the works. That process takes a long time. But we should be having some rulemaking hearings coming up the next couple meetings.
Good
Or
deal.
Probably towards the end of the year this year.
Okay, thanks, Kyle. And Chris, board updates?
All right. As of last week, when I did my report, we're up to 35,000 active licenses, and so we're continuing to grow new applications, and reinstatements have continued to grow year over year over the past couple of years. So again, we got plenty of work to do with our staff, and so we are. I would say as of yesterday, we're at like just over 1,100 open applications on a daily basis in our system to get approved. We've been focusing on July renewals really heavily this past week or so, just to make sure July is, I would say, is one of our busiest months, if not the busiest. But we're also getting a lot of renewals from back in May, and also renewals for up through September as well. It's starting to pile in, and so there's still a lot for us to do, but we are still on track to get those out in 30 days or less, or even renewals are a couple weeks or less. And so we are working to streamline our process with when folks receive a deficiency letter from us. We're pushing folks to upload those documents, deficient documents, back into their application file and core online, instead of just emailing it to us. That way it saves a ton of time for both them and us to get it into one place. Otherwise so we're adjusting our letters to say that, and result, we've getting a lot less calls and emails about things like that. So it's definitely helped us in that aspect. So and then in turn, it helps us to further reduce our processing time. So with that, I just want to kind of give you an update on the status of where we are in our program of licenses. I know want to talk about Kyle, I don't know if you want to talk about or discuss the general timelines of talking about boards, upcoming boards being in person or virtual, or even hearings and things like that.
Sure, I can touch on that. So I think at the last meeting before, I told you all about the Less is More Act, which did become effective July 1st. So that allows for electronic participation at board meetings. There are certain requirements that we have to do if there's going to be any board member that attends electronically. We have to update the agenda saying that. And then also, if we have any formal hearings, we need to know about electronic participation, because there could be certain circumstances where the parties in those hearings have to agree, and the judge has to agree if they deem it kind of an electronic hearing at that point. Stuff we need to know about, like with exhibits and that kind of stuff. So I think moving forward, if we could get like a notice in advance if anyone plans to attend electronically, I think it's a great thing, not having to travel. The meetings are going to be in Nashville, but just give us a little heads up so we can prepare and get those requirements on the agenda, and reach out to the disciplinary attorneys if there's going to be anyone participating electronically.
So I will be reaching out sooner than week prior with the asking about, hey, everybody's availability in person or virtual. So you'll still get the read-ahead files a week ahead, but I'll probably be reaching out about availabilities, at least 2 or 3 weeks out before the next board meeting, just to kind of make sure we got everything in order in that aspect. So just a heads up on that. So.
And really appreciate all you being here today, for sure.
Yeah, and I think last time we agreed that the meetings will remain in Nashville?
They will remain in Nashville.
Okay.
In perpetuation, unless there's a agreed upon decision to move it one place or the other by the board. But going forward, we'll be in Nashville when we have it in person.
Okay.
And then the final thing is, I want to kind of highlight one thing that we did just completed back in the end of June was a webinar. I think it was a big success. We did like a overview and went in depth on the application process. We had around 70 folks listen in, and we're going to start doing that at least quarterly. We got the next one lined up for September, just for kind of open to the public to listen and go through the application process in depth. And I think that, in turn will help get more quality applications through more quickly. And so just wanted to highlight the great effort that our team is doing. I want a special shout out to Janine who set that up. And we'll going forward, we're going to do more things like that to be open to the public and ask questions through that manner. So the next one is September 30th, and so it should be going out on our website.
Excellent. That's great.
Are those recorded, Chris?
They are recorded, and so they'll be there for anybody to listen in. And so we'll have the same generic.
If you miss
If you miss it, we'll have the same generic, presentation go through, but any specific questions people have as well, we'll answer those, and those will be available as well.
Great service to offer, for sure.
And with that, that's all I have for my update.
Thanks, Chris. Kathy, any public comments?
No public comments.
Any comments from in here? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn, the next meeting being September 23rd, 2025 here in Nashville.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries, and I believe we have a hearing at 10:30?
10:45.
10:45. Excellent. Thank you.